Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at a Tenko Heaven list. Why? Because I'm running out of decks that I can play and the current meta is pretty much set up until the mini expansion, which shouldn't be too far away, so hopefully that'll refresh things and I can get back into Shadowverse a little bit more. I found it very hard to try and get some of these videos out for you guys lately, as it's just very stale kind of meta right now, and that's pretty normal for the month too, so nothing unexpected there. But getting right into this, it's a pretty standard Tenko list these days. It's also using a Summit Haven finisher list, also incorporating a single Seraph just for that little bit of extra reach if you need it. In most cases you won't, but it's there in case you do, especially in mirror matches where things can get a little tricky. So we're going to get right into it and check it out. So the most of my letter experience has been against Dragon and a Shadow mostly. Unfortunately, I don't have the cards to make Shadow and Forest decks much at the moment, and even my Dragon decks are lacking some of the kind of bigger hitting cards, and Sword as well. Mostly because they're requiring a lot of legendaries these days, of course, which is getting worse and worse as time goes on, so there's only so many decks I can make with the cards I have, and I usually try and incorporate things as best I can for you guys, but I am hoping the mini expansion will throw things into a bit more of a shift and we'll hopefully see some more decks come out. Plus we have got a fair few packs to open for the mini expansion that I've been stockpiling, so that should be good too. And of course, starting things off early, always going for those early drops where possible. A 2-drop isn't a bad way to go, and hopefully curving out into Tenko for the most optimal play possible. Unicorn Knight being able to come down pretty much immediately, followed by Black Diamond, getting a little bit of setup going. It's also a nice little heal card. Of course, I set it up early enough that Tenko probably won't take advantage of it, but early enough that it shouldn't be easy to negate or very easy to counter. At least that was my initial impression going for that card. Holy Priest is a really good way to kick things off here too, as we're going to be able to go for Holy Water with the Evo, clean up one of these pretty easily, bait out another card, and then go for Tenko on 5 without taking too much issue with what's currently on board. And honestly, the Dragon Strife Blade isn't a bad option for them. Doing things that way does work out nicely. Unfortunately though, me going forward, all I have to do is play out the Tenko and pretty much just snowball from there, as Dragon doesn't typically run great counters to Tenko. They don't tend to have a really just one-hit counter on it, which is always good. And if they waste a turn against this deck getting rid of Tenko, typically you can just slam down something like Heavenly Knight, get some damage in, and really be oppressive. So Omen of Disdain still popping up in pretty much every Dragon list around, ranging from both PDK to ramp. Really, it's still one of the most solid cards you can probably run, even after the nerf. So we did it up with another Tenko, so I decided to go for that play instead. Playing out the second one I felt was going to be perfect for what we need. And now it's just a matter of going for some board control and making sure our health doesn't drop off, which is what Godsworn is perfect for. It's definitely the one card we want to take as much advantage of as possible, but this turn we do need to purge, as they are going to deal massive amounts of damage if we didn't. Pure-Hearted Singer going for that early play, especially with the eyes, yeah. Anyway. Azzy Drahaka, I don't know. Anyway, most people have tried to correct that, it doesn't really matter. Big Beast Dragon. How about that title? I think that fits him perfectly. So cleaning this up with the heals will allow us to wipe the board pretty easily. And we get a couple of decent heals out of that as well, and hopefully we'll set up for our Godsworn now. The sooner we get that down, the less likely they are to just absolutely steamroll us, which is what we want to avoid at all costs. Disdainful Rend, that hurts a fair bit, because that means we are going to take the damage here. But at least I can kind of block out now, so they can only deal a maximum of 4 damage per strike, meaning any more big storm cards are going to be severely limited. And we are going to heal up, which is pretty decent, while at the same time wiping their board. So we've definitely put ourselves in a favourable position, making it very hard for our opponent to just kill us straight out now. And we've still got some decent cards to go along with this. Poseidon, again, not an issue. Something we should be able to clean up pretty easily. I was trying to work out the best way to handle this. Probably didn't take the best way to do it, but I definitely took a way to do it that would buy us some time. So we are going to clean this up, thanks to our heal effects, and keep our health at a reasonable level, meaning they need to hit us at least 3 times. Prime Dragon Keeper, not really an issue. They are out of evos, which means Beacon of Salvation is going to clean up the entire board next turn. Especially since they freed us up a slot. It could have been risky if we didn't get a spot cleared out, but it definitely worked in our favour. Another Dragon Keeper, definitely not the thing we want to see come down to the board. Those one damage pings really do hurt us. Oh jeez, that's just worse. Straight out worse at this point. At least we are going to pick up a couple of kills, making this a lot easier to deal with. And we should wipe the board pretty easily now, thanks to the healing. So definitely relying on that healing and Godsworn really does help quite a bit. And now that we have a 7 health ward, it's going to be very hard to counter that. But not exactly easy for us either. This Poseidon is just going to really block us out. So I do just throw the Purge to the board. Since we are going to heal, this does give us a couple extra damage in and make lethal a lot easier to obtain. Even if it was a little bit of a risk. But I still couldn't really think of anything that could have just outright killed us. It would have definitely had to have been a combo of cards to kill us. Heavenly Knight, picking up the 3 damage. Not that we needed it, we probably could have just played another card and went for it that way, but that was pretty much perfect for that. Next up, another Dragon matchup, because Dragon is just that popular on ladder, plus the sample sizes are going down, with most players kind of bowing out for the rest of this expansion so far until the mini expansion hits, which I will be covering the mini expansion cards. I'm thinking of covering all of them once they are all announced. I haven't checked in a little bit to see if they have all been announced since obviously making this video, but I'll definitely want to be checking that out soon, so keep an eye out for that video, as I don't think covering, a couple of cards at a time is worth it. It's definitely better to just cover every single one at once right before they launch to really get that kind of impact for you guys and give some fresh opinions. As, like I said, I haven't been playing a lot of Shadowverse lately. I am going to have to pick up a little bit before the end of the month, just so I can get the monthly rewards done, as I've been trying to play a bunch of other games, but mainly I'm just trying to get some of these videos for you guys, as I know you guys enjoy them. It definitely shows. But, of course, we are, like I said, in that 2-month slump. So, we cleaned that out, not really any issue. Just go for an extra card because we don't have the points to play Tenko yet. Plus, it's not bad to get these things down reasonably low. And now it's just a matter of a Tenko Shrine and heal. Getting that damage off it is just always amazing. So now we're pretty much set up. We should just be able to play a Dealer Fill, and we'll just drop that onto the board pretty easily. We can even evo the Dragon instead, to make it even harder to just get around this entire board. And we should be able to pick up at least 2 of these as kills and get another 6/6 Dragon, so why not? I definitely enjoy a lot of the Haven decks. They are probably some of my favourite decks to play. Disdainful Rend. Pretty predictable, honestly. Prime Dragon Keeper. This deck really has no issue dealing with Dragon Keepers. It's what makes this deck so good. Even though Prime Dragon Keeper is classed as a tier 1 deck, and this deck is really classed as a tier 2, it's definitely a positive matchup for Haven. The only decks I really struggle against with Haven at the moment are the mirror matches and the rune matches. Shadow and Dragon tend to be my more positive matchups for this deck normally, although I have noticed a sharp decline in mid-shadows as of late, compared to Dragon at least. Omen of Disdain. Definitely no surprise there. And we should be able to pick up that cleanup pretty easily, get that damage to the face, and set up just some more cards to really draw out whatever we can at this point. And set up for a decent Heavenly Knight next turn, which could be our potential lethal. Which, considering our opponent literally passed their turn, it's going to be a very, very easy lethal. Even without the Evo, we'd have it right here, so can't really go wrong there. So I hope you guys did and enjoyed this video. I do enjoy playing this deck for sure. Whether it's super good right now, it's fairly decent, especially if you are going up against the most dragon decks. That's where I find this really shines. Would I probably use this as something like Grand Prix? Probably not, although I'm pretty sure by the time this video comes out for you guys, Grand Prix is probably mostly over. So if you did enjoy it, hit the like button and subscribe. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Until next time, see ya.